Bonjour. I've created this slideshow to help you to understand how to conjugate a regular ER verb in French. Remember, an example of a regular ER verb in French is, guess what? A verb that ends in ER. If we look at this verb, danser, you will notice that this verb ends in ER, but that ER, that A sound, means to. Okay? So, danser written like this means to dance. To conjugate a verb, we don't want it to say to, so we don't want that ER at the end. We only want the stem or root of the verb. Let's focus on the singular subject pronouns, je, tu, il, and elle. For each of these, we're going to take that root of the verb, D-A-N-S, and copy it down for each of our subject pronouns. Then, next to each of the subject, for each of subject pronoun, we need to find the correct ending that matches, that we're going to tack on to the end of our root. Again, that D-A-N-S is called the root or stem of the verb. So for je, we add the letter E. For tu, we add the letter ES. That is the only subject pronoun, tu, that has two letters in its ending, ES. Hopefully that'll help you remember that. For il and elle, again, it's just the letter E at the end. But again, all of these endings, when we pronounce them, are silent. Okay, but we need to make sure to get the correct ending on the end of each one of our verb roots. So for pronunciation, we would say je danse, tu danses, il danse, elle danse. I think we pretty much know that. It may be the plural form that we're getting stuck on. So that'll be on the next page. Again, we start with danser, with the ER at the end, but we take that off, so we're left with the root of our verb. The root of the verb then, again, is copied down next to each of our plural subject pronouns, nous, vous, il pluriel, and elle pluriel. We still have to figure out, okay, what is the ending that's going to match with nous? Okay, so for nous, we're going to add on the letters O and S. If you forget what those letters are, if we look at this subject pronoun nous, you're going to see the N and the O and the S. So again, there's the O and S over there, and then here's O and S over here. For the vous form, I tell you that that's the easy ending to remember. It's not hard. What's nice is that EZ ending, danser, sounds exactly like the ER ending, danser. That's why it's easy to remember. Lastly, we have the il and elle pluriel endings, which are E and T. Okay? Although those endings are silent, okay, be careful, we do have to write them correctly. And what I've told you is that these two pronouns, of all the list of pronouns, they are at the end of our list. So maybe that'll help you to remember how to spell them. So to review the pronunciation, nous dansons, that's a nasal sound. Vous dansez, the easy pronunciation to remember, because it's the vous form is easy, and also because vous dansez sounds exactly like danser ending in ER. And then the silent verb forms, il danse, again the ending is silent, elle danse. Lastly, here are a few things you should remember when you're conjugating. Number one, be sure to use the correct subject pronoun. I think the biggest mistake that students do is that they mix up these two pronouns, vous and il or elle pluriel. Okay, again, just a reminder, vous means you. See how there's an ou and an ou? They rhyme. So maybe that will help you remember that vous means you. Il and elle pluriel, on the other hand, mean they. Again, referring to masculine plural or masculine and feminine plural, or just feminine plural. Second, be sure to match up the correct ending of the verb, again what you're adding to the root of the verb, to the subject pronoun you are using. The endings are as follows. For je, you add the letter E. Remember, the to form always has two letters, es. Il and L singular form also end in just E. The nous form ends in ons. Remember, we find it right in this word, nous, ons. The vous form, again, is the EZ ending to remember. And il and L pluriel, we find them at the end of the list. Again, this has to all do with spelling, so that we're matching up the subject pronoun with the appropriate ending to the root of our verb. And for pronunciation purposes, think of it as a little boot. Okay, here's my pretty boot with my little laces and my little heel. So again, all of these endings, although we write them and we spell them a little differently, are all silent. So if we were conjugating the verb danser, we would say je danse, tu danses, il danse, elle danse. And then for il and elle pluriel, il danse, elle danse. They all sound the same because those endings are silent within the boot that I've just drawn here. But again, outside of the boot, we have nous dansons, that nasal sound, and vous dansez. Lastly, number 3. Remember the 3 definitions that I gave you of each subject pronoun and conjugated verb combination. For example, je danse. 3 definitions are I dance, which looks exactly like what it is. Okay, it's a statement or a fact. Second definition, I am dancing, which is again what I'm talking about, what I'm doing now. And number 3, I do dance, which is an answer to a question. And it's an answer to a question where you're trying to make sure that someone believes you, saying, I do dance. And what's really important to remember with each one of these translations is that when you are trying to write from English to French, that word am, the ending ing, and this word do, you don't really have to worry about. Focus on asking yourself, okay, when I look at my sentence, what is my subject pronoun? And in each of these sentences, the subject pronoun is I, that is je. Second question, what is my verb? Well, there's dance. There's what looks kind of like dance. And there's dance. And there it is in French, je danse. I hope that this has helped you to get a little bit clearer on how to conjugate, and you'll do better when you see it again. Au revoir.